In business news, the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria said the growth in contributions of the financial services sector to the GDP is driven by increase in the number of people using financial services. And President of the CIBN, Mr. Ken Okpara, said this in Lagos ahead of the Institute's annual banking conference. Tagged Nigeria's economic growth and empowerment, the role of financial services industry. The chairman of the consultative committee of the conference and managing director FSDH, Mrs. Bukola Smith, said the theme is predicated from the need for stakeholders in the industry to drive conversations and design a clear roadmap for repositioning the financial service industry as an indispensable propeller of Nigeria's economic growth, empowerment, and stability.
The cost to serve reduced drastically. And of course, we saw what happened during the COVID, that people could, in Nigeria, for instance, you will see that there was no service disruption. People also had to do their services, without necessarily having to walk into the banks as much as possible. We provided those services. So with that, the cost of banking and other services reduced.
We felt that it was important that set that pace, that context for them, things to talk about. The economy is a burning issue for any government, and it's important that they hit the ground running and they understand the issues that are on ground, and they also can chart a way forward together with the industry. And like you've all admitted, the financial service industry is an integral part of the economic growth of Nigeria.
The Indonesian ambassador to Nigeria, Dr. Usra Harahap, says Indonesian exports to Nigeria stand at $459 million, while Nigeria exports to Indonesia is about $4 trillion. The ambassador expressed worries at the low figure while hoping that trade relations between the two nations will improve, with Indonesia expanding its export capacity into Nigeria. Also, India's High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Shir Balasubramanian, says India has contributed more than $19 billion to the growth of Nigeria's economy.
Nigeria amount to about $4.32 billion, with export Indonesia to Nigeria at only $459 million. So it means we need more export to Nigeria. Therefore, it reflects the high untapped potential of Indonesia and Nigeria trade, which could be further improved.
We have more than 135 Indian companies which have made Nigeria as their home for the past about 40-50 years. And they have invested more than $19 billion worth of $19 billion in the Nigerian economy. Anecdotally speaking, there is one small statistics which anecdotally states that Indian companies are the second largest employer of Nigerians after the Nigerian government. They are in almost every manufacturing sector, whether it is oil and gas or whether it is all the Okadas. 74% of the Okadas are actually Indian origin. The Marvas or the KKs. The issues in pharmaceuticals, more than $3 billion have been invested in pharmaceuticals.
They spoke on the sidelines of the LCCI investment conference in Lagos. Now, the Maritime Police has been accused of extortion and disruption of trade in the ports. A protest by aggrieved freight forwarders and agents called on the authorities to curb Maritime Police excesses. TVC News correspondent Ifunaya Eze reports.
There is visible anger among freight forwarders and agents over the activities of the Maritime Police in the port. With several inscriptions detailing their grievances, they urge the government to call the Maritime Police to order. While addressing the aggrieved freight forwarders, the coordinator of NAGAF's 100% compliance team, Mr. Tanko Ibrahim, noted that the Maritime Police unlawful activities have greatly hindered trade facilitation.
The extortion is too much. The blockage of container from the Maritime Police is too much. The harassment is too much. What we are saying is that we have Nigerian police in the port, domiciled in the port, commissioner of police for that matter. If there's anything to do with police, Why can't they refer that matter to the Commissioner of Police Port?
In his remarks, he stressed the consequences of maritime police continuous illegality on businesses.
Why are they blocking that container? If they want to do their custom police work, we are not against that. But they should be ready to pay the demurrage for the shipping and the terminal. They cannot hold the containers for 3-4 weeks and we are still paying the demurrage. What we are saying, they should do something before this thing gets out of hand.
Others question the maritime police legal jurisdiction, claiming it borders on duplication.
Maritime police has no business stopping containers on the road and demanding a separate inspection. If they have any issue of such sort, they should write to customs. And then the funny thing is that what they do is hold on to these containers and demand money. So what they are doing is pure extortion, demanding 4 million, 5 million to release a container. And in such containers, they found nothing incriminating.
If they want to do the jobs of customs, let them come through customs. Let them go through customs. Let them start wearing the uniform so that we know that they are custom. Not that a trained custom officer will release job. At the end of the day on the road, they will stop the job without even informing the custom.
Port users are calling on the government to set specific boundaries for the maritime police before conflicting issues disrupt port operations. Ifunanya Eze, TVC News, Lagos.
Asian equities rose today for the third straight day to their highest in 2 weeks, while the dollar wobbled as weak U.S. labor bolstered bets that the Federal Reserve was likely done with its interest rate hikes. MSCI's broadest index of Asian Pacific shares outside Japan rose as much as 1% to touch its highest since August 14 before easing to a gain of 0.53%. The index, though, is down about 6% so far in August and set for its worst monthly performance since February. Futures indicated the exorbitant mood and it was set to continue in Europe. The Euro Stock 50 futures rose 0.39, German DAX 0.289%, FTSE futures up 0.31. China shares gained following the announcement of measure to lift investors' confidence, including half the stock trading on stamp duty. And our crude oil prices gained today after industry data showed a large drawdown in crude inventories in the U.S., the world's biggest fuel consumer. And as concerns about the hurricane of Gulf of Mexico kept investors on the edge, U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude rose to sell at $81.69, with a surge of 0.65%. Brent also experienced an uptick of 0.50%, sell at $85.92. And OPEC basket is also offering $87.10 with an upward price margin of 0.24%.